Hello, and thanks for joining us. I'm Ruth Kaufman. I'm the executive producer, head writer, and in the cast of the 6-episode comedic web series, What Did Clyde Hide? And that is available with more information at chicagoshowgirls.us. The concept and characters for the web series were developed by the cast of 17, some of whom are with us today, and also our director, Sean Patrick Leonard, for a behind-the-scenes conversation. So to get the conversation started, I would like to throw the question to Sandy Gulliver. How did the original group Showgirls get started?
About 4 years ago, I think it was, I decided I needed people to go to the theater with me. So I created a Facebook page called Showgirls and invited all of my friends in my age group. And they started joining, and I would post on there, who wants to go see such and such a show on such and such a date, and the ones that wanted to were doing a web series.
So it was a social group. Mm-hmm. How did you take the social group and turn it into a complete web series with 6 episodes and a cast of 17 and all that?
It's beyond me. It wasn't my idea. Where is Judy?
Where's Judy?
Yeah, Judy is the one who joined the group. And I should say, after the COVID-19 started, we couldn't meet in person anymore. So we started coming to Zoom meetings to just chat. Judy joined one of those meetings, and the rest is history, because she said, why don't we do a video of something on our own? And it just kind of blew up from there.
Joyce?
Yeah, it was amazingly spontaneous. It just one idea on top of another idea on top of another idea, and within 15 or 20 minutes we had the whole idea outlined, you know, what the plot would be and who would play what basic characters. And
well, the setting had been come up with, the funeral idea, not the whole plot. That was developed later.
Oh, right, but that it would be a funeral, a Zoom funeral. There'd be various characters. We'd each play one of the characters that was related to a main character. And someone says, well, I could play this character. I could play that character. And then it all developed from there. It was very ensemble.
Well, everyone else who's here, we'll get to Sean in a minute. What made you want to be part of it? Lori.
Well, when the idea was first proposed and all these wacky like plot lines, and I think the next step was, you know, pick your character, design who you would like to be, and write yourself a monologue and then tape the monologue. And that just sounded like a creative challenge that I was super hungry for in COVID. So it was just kind of a personal challenge. And then to see what it morphed into was so satisfying.
Anyone else have thoughts on that? That was a good answer. Bobby?
I'm going to echo that a little bit, but I've spoken to Brenda about this, and you know, we bill ourselves as actors of a certain age group, so to speak. And let's face it, I'm not being called in for the seductress very often. So to write a character where I get to go in and be fun and juicy, I'll take it, you know. So I jumped at the chance. Yeah.
I saw another, Brenda.
I jumped at the chance too, because not only could we have really fun characters to act, that we got to, you know, have input what her character was and how she dressed. I jumped at it because I wanted to be on the writing team, which I am with Ruth Kaufman and with MJ Starshak, because I have been really getting into writing a lot of screenplays. And I thought, wait, this is great because I can write the script and then it's produced right away. So that was awesome.
Sandra.
I jumped in because I wanted us to keep jumping in and to make certain during COVID that we could stay together. This is a wonderful group of gals, and on occasion a guy when we invite him into our group. And in order to continue with more than just, hi, how are you? The weather's good, or I'm sick, you know, that kind of stuff. It allowed us to focus and have a path to go down that looked like it was probably going to be relatively long and keep us occupied.
Yeah, and we are very fortunate that out of this group, people have maybe hidden talents we didn't know about, such as Ann Myrna creating such a wonderful website for us.
Yeah.
And people taking on different tasks so that all the work, which I think was more than a lot of us expected, you know, most of us grew up with Judy Garland and Andy Rooney. Let's put on a show, as if it's just so easy. But even a Zoom session, when a lot of us were staying at home most of the time, it turned out to be a big undertaking. Sean Patrick Leonard, why don't you tell us how you got involved?
Sure thing. Hello, everybody, and hello, beautiful audience. So it was really easy. Sandy put a post on Facebook saying, "Hey, we need a director." And I said, I might be interested in that. Next thing I know, Sandy's like, Sean Patrick Leonard is directing for us. And here I was. There was no like, here's what we're doing or anything like that. She just pretty much said, you're in, we're done, let's go.
Which begs the question, what made you want to jump in without knowing? I think most of us have jumped into projects in the past, and then when you see the script, you're like, or you see some of what's involved, and you're like, So what made you so enthusiastic?
Bribery was the first thing.
Are you getting paid?
Yes, in hugs and kisses when this whole thing is over.
Virtual.
Someday.
Yes.
Virtually hug Sean. We love you.
Well, to be absolutely honest, it's kind of a twofold. The more, I guess, serious part of it was that I felt during COVID that my artistic self was gone. It was a flat tire. It was 4 flat tires with no jack and no extra tires. I just felt like my wheels were spinning. I didn't know how I would react. So, and just knowing once Sandy said, you know, that she was working with all of you, though I didn't know some of you going into this, I had worked with both Ruth and Sandy before and knew most of your crew. So I was, you know, very much eager to be working with a lot of you for the first time. And for some, you know, like Lori, I met on the set of Chicago Med and was like, I'd love to work with somebody like her one day. And, you know, when I found out that she was a part of this, along with Bobby and Sandra and Shannon and everybody else and Brenda and those that aren't here today, I was like, yeah, let's do this.
The next thing I would like to talk about working over Zoom. Some of the other actors, have you worked over Zoom? What were the challenges? And then also the benefits, since during COVID times, it would have been really challenging to get all of us in person on a set to do it. So let's talk a little bit about working over Zoom. Anybody? Julie.
Yeah, well, I found it really difficult because I'm used to working in theater and having another person directly with me to speak to, and to be acting to a screen or somewhere out there with nothing was really hard to get into that. I just had it was like, you know, doing a monologue to the wall.
Yeah.
Bobby.
It forced a professionalism. You have to go out and you've got to invest in lighting, in mics and stuff. And maybe you put that off for a little bit, but you had to invest in it during the pandemic. So everything with Zoom now with auditions.
Sandra.
Julie, that makes total sense what you just said, because some of us are used to doing a monologue to the wall. So that, yeah, on camera people and film people. And that made it probably just a tad easier for us. But don't you think that once we had our first couple of sessions, we all got pretty comfortable with this format?
Joyce?
I didn't find it that difficult. And the thing I liked was that we weren't pretending that we worked on Zoom. That was the whole, you know, when we came up with the premises was, well, what can we do where we are on Zoom? Which of course is the safest thing. And we didn't have to worry about COVID tests or anything like that. And I think that it works well having a premise where you can have everyone on Zoom.
Shannon?
Yeah, I mean, the challenges that one major challenge I figured out was after I kind of saw some of our editing that my camera on my computer is terrible. So I got a new webcam, but unfortunately that was post recording. But the other thing was, challenging, just trying to figure out times when we could all get on, that we could get good bandwidth with everybody else being on Zoom, home studies, homeschooling and whatnot. But it's just been great to see everybody and work together and collaborate with just an amazing group. So it's been exciting.
Valerie?
I'm with Julie, though, the technicalities that it's, the technical expertise that's demanded has been just really exhausting for me. And I'm still on the learning curve, and I'm in awe of everybody else who has this down already.
I know some of us have been required to do self-tape auditions at home, and not all of those want the blank wall. And some of us have even done other Zoom projects where you're serving as the entire crew for the whole shoot as well. So this was a good exercise in getting us all more up to speed on things we're going to need to be doing for the time to come. Sandy, did you have something?
Yes, compared to when we first started, how we are positioned on the screen, we're all face level. In the beginning, we were looking at somebody's ceiling fan, somebody else was in a rocking chair, and we've learned so much about how we look on screen that's a skill that we can take with us in the future, because I think self-tapes and Zoom auditions are not going to go away after this.
Agree.
Sure, for sure. Next topic. Let's talk about the large cast from all of our perspectives. I know that some of us have worked as extras on TV shows back in the day where there might be 100 people, but they weren't all speaking. And some of us have been in musicals where everybody was singing, but 16 people probably didn't have lines in a given scene. And here we were trying to have 16 or 17 people where almost everyone spoke in almost every episode. So what was that like for everyone? Valerie?
The most difficult thing for me was knowing where to look, because you really didn't know even if everybody was going to stay in the same position. So I almost had to just learn to, focus on internalizing everything and just doing your reaction to
The blank
the
wall.
camera. Mm-hmm.
Brenda?
We also found out that just because maybe Valerie, Ruth, and is in my top row, they may not be in somebody else's top row. So if you can't think that we're all looking at one person's talking, so we had to learn how to deal with that we're not all in the same boxes on
Right.
everyone's screen.
Everybody can't just look to the left because
Right.
you're on my left or whatever.
Right.
Sean, what about directing this many people at once and always on the screen, which was a choice we made not to cut away often to different people?
Yeah, I actually think that that helped a lot because it simplified things, which I think is very effective for what you were trying to put together. I think, yes, with any instance, be it a play, a film, or whatever, having 17 people and having to balance everybody's schedules and things like that, always a challenge. I know that what Julie said, and not having that physical person, that theater right in front of you, that energy that you feel, that give and take kind of thing. This is a whole new world that we're, in. And so to try to break that barrier of like, I need you to be on top of each other, like this is an actual conversation. And that there's a disconnect in video and film and things like that you don't get, that you get live. So I had to try to recreate something with 17 people that felt organic and natural, along with, being honest to the comedy and things like that.
And still trying to keep it interesting too, because 17 people or 16 just sort of staring into space, you did a lot to try to keep some people coming and going and people having some other activities besides just sort of this look ahead into the vague lands. Any other comments on that? Lori?
Yeah, I found it interesting both in the recording of the episodes and then the viewing of them later with all of us seen at all times. It created this different sort of dynamic where, when you're on set, on camera, in a scene, you usually just have one or two scene partners. But like when I'm looking at my Zoom screen, and we were known to be shown all the time, so we're constantly reacting, which was interesting to me because it really like fed energy from everybody into my performance, just watching all the different boxes and then viewing it later. I love how the way Sean and Alan, our editor / engineer, put it together with the boxes coming out. It still points the audience to the storyline, but meanwhile, you could watch it many different times and focus on different characters, and because everyone's performing all the time. And it reminds me of those plays where you can follow a character through a different character each time, and you'll get a different version of the play, some of those interactive things. So that was really neat for me.
Joyce.
It's the perfect example of the cliche you hear all the time in acting, that acting is reacting. And absolutely everyone was doing that at every moment. Nobody was just sitting there waiting for their line. Everyone was reacting to every line in every scene and did a great
point. Brenda, did you have something?
I was just going to say, it was just a couple viewpoints to go about that. We started learning the parameters of Zoom because we found out that sometimes you can stand up, you could sing, maybe you can dance on it. We started learning the different things you could do. Maybe you could draw on, there's different, it became its own art form in itself with its own limitations, and we were trying to push its limits also.
Bobby?
Yeah, just a small thing, but while we all knew the script, we didn't know what anyone's reactions were going to be. And I had a couple of spit takes when someone's pulling up their shirt and doing the silliest things. I had no idea that those kind of reactions were coming, and they were hysterical.
Very true. Sandra.
Bobby's just intrigued our viewers into watching.
Don't give anything away.
We don't say what episode that's in, so you'll have to watch them all.
Right. We have other surprises too, so people need to watch all 6 episodes.
Yes, no spoilers here. No spoilers. The next topic I'd like to go into, if people would have comments on what was the most fun about this for you.
Julie.
Well, I got to wear my daughter's tiara, a boa, false eyelashes, and extra makeup. Oh, that was just priceless. And trashy jewels.
I didn't say it, but I don't want to do a spoiler. So.
Yes, no spoiler from that. Brenda?
I think a lot of us, we are always cast often in our age group, the over 40 age group. We're often it's mom. I don't know how many times I've been the mom or the lawyer. The mom, the lawyer, the professional lady, the doctor, the lawyer, the mom. And that's why I just love my character so much, and other people love their characters too, because they picked their character and they could just really go wild in it. And as writers, we had a fantastic time working with the characters that everyone created. That was our starting point, and we just we could just go off and just explore so many fun things that we could do with them.
Sandra.
I chose a name for my character, who actually the name of my first cousin in Canada, so I could force her to watch our episodes along with the rest of her family, and that's exactly what's happened. Oh, Penny Purdy? Okay, I guess we better watch this.
John.
Well, of course, working with all of you and getting to know all of you has been my favorite part, especially for those that I have just met through this process. But also on top of that, I do know some of you, and I've seen you over the past decade or so and seen you as actors. And it's so lovely to see some of you stretching, Brenda was saying, I'm always the mom. I want to be something else, and stuff like that. And so for you all to take those risks and to play outside of your, stereotypical comfort zone was really intriguing and a lot of fun. And, once you really let go and really let yourselves have fun with it, I think that's where, the magic really started to happen.
And I would say for me, the most fun was because I knew everyone previously, so I could hear their voices in my head when I was writing. And other things I've written are just they're made up characters, obviously, but I didn't have specific people in mind necessarily. I might have done a mood board with pictures of famous actors who resemble the character, that kind of thing. But, you know, hearing Daryl's voice in my head when I wrote my favorite line, "This isn't a pity party for poor Penny Purdy," hearing her say that in my head was a lot of fun for me. Any final thoughts?
It was so much fun just watching it when it was done and seeing what everyone was doing.
Mhm.
Sometimes you're kind of focused on what you're saying and what you're doing, and to see with all the reactions and everything, it was a lot of fun.
One small thing, when Sandy said we all got together because we love theater, something else that's so important is because we supported each other. Sandy, the plays that everyone went to were supporting the other actors. So, some here, some just friends that aren't part of the project. And something about this entire entity is about supporting the arts and each other. And it's, you know, we're also grateful for Sandy to bringing us all together. And just, it's just been a joy to work with everyone, so.
Sandra, did I see? Yes.
Amen to that, Bobby. And also, I'd like to say, not only did we go see plays, we went to see films as well. It wasn't just a theater group. It was a showgirls get together and support all our actors.
And one of my storytelling shows as well. So thank you all for that. Valerie.
I just love the evolution of the whole thing, how we initially got together just to talk, and all of a sudden it seemed like everybody was just kind of bored with, "Hi, how are you?" It's like, let's put on a show. It's what everybody does. And it was just fun. It's like, oh, okay.
Janet.
I was just going to say, it's really just brought so much sunshine in such a time that we've been living through, and working with everybody and getting to know everybody better and speaking with people on the screen that are talking back to me instead of just to myself sometimes, you know, is very uplifting. So it's been wonderful. And I'll echo everything Bobby said as well.
Sandra.
Interesting, Shannon, you should say that. I'm looking at a saying on my wall that says, "Stay close to people that make you feel like sunshine." I think that's what this group did.
Oh, that's a lovely closure, Sandra. Thank you so much. Thanks to all of our actors for being here. Thank you to our director, Sean Patrick Leonard, and thanks to everyone for watching. We hope you will watch, or hope you have enjoyed, our comedic web series, What Did Clyde Hide?, available at chicagoshowgirls.us, and the episodes are at /episode. Thanks again, /episodes. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.